Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm the Rambling Director. Today we talk about the 1987 animated version of The Phantom of the Opera, which I have on the Incredible Stories Volume 2 DVDs. This film was created by Emerald City Productions in Dublin, Ireland, and originally aired on HBO in 1987. And the film is one of my favorite versions, actually. It's not only an animated film, but the artwork is beautiful to look at, although the animation is, shall we say, Hanna-Barbera in its economics. Yes, this movie was made very, very cheaply, and the animation looks really, really cheap for the most part. There's very little of it where you get a sense that there was any money behind it. They do a lot of things like hiding the characters' mouths so you don't see the lips, and then they don't have to spend money on syncing up the lips. There's several times when animation is reused, like this one shot where Eric is kind of cocking his head and his hand moves across the screen. They use that same animation several times. Clearly, these were made on an extremely low budget. But what is kind of cool about this and all of the incredible stories that Emerald City made is, and again, this is just volume 2, there are more, is that they managed to condense relatively long classic novels into shorter hour-long segments that a child could understand and get the basics of what the story was about, even though they are incredibly inaccurate from what I've seen. This movie gets huge points with LaRue fans for being very accurate to the original Phantom novel. But I've never really understood why, because aside from a few scenes where they use direct line for line from the book, there's not a lot of scenes that are directly taken out of the book. A lot of scenes are changed around in a different order. Half of the characters are missing, and the half that are there, a lot of them have their names swapped around or changed completely. So I've never really thought this was that close to the book, especially compared to like the Hampton print of the Cheney version, which is far closer to the book than this. I do get where people are coming from because large swaths of the ending are almost exact from the book. However, getting the last third right, and even then messing up the Phantom's death, does not mean greatest adaptation ever. Sorry, it just doesn't. But let's get right into it, because there is a lot to love about this production, and again, it's one of my very favorites. Every episode of the Emerald City productions that I've seen starts with this nice little opening synopsis. It kind of reminds me of a few episodes of Columbo, where they would start with sort of a teaser for the episode. We cut right in on an intro where Raul and Christine are riding in a carriage together. And Raul totally friend zones Christine for some reason.
What are friends for, Christine? Besides,
Here you see the first little hints of what I was talking about. The animation is extremely cheap. Now, if something kind of cool is Christine knows in advance that the Phantom is going to get her on stage that night. And Christine is very like her book counterpart. I've always really liked that about her. She's got that same mysteriousness and childish vagueness in the way she talks.
You really are a faithful friend.
And Christine friend zones Raoul right back. Are these two even interested in each other? Next, we meet Joseph Bouquet, who in this version is one of the managers, and he announces that he wants to sell Box 5. Oh, sorry, it's time to sell Box 5.
Business is good, Robert. Very good. It is time to rent out Box 5.
He says it almost like he's been saving this for a special occasion. Now, there's a weird little scene where an opera cat is kind of cuddling up to the managers, and the manager kicks it away, and then the Phantom promptly kills this poor cat. It's so cruel. Why does nobody like cats in this universe? Cats are awesome. Christine makes her debut to a very painted, lifeless audience. Oh, my bad. Actually, Christine makes her debut to the most fickle audience ever.
Who is that?
See, I don't know.
She's just a child.
Where is Madame Carlotta? Who allowed this?
But never fear, in the span of a few seconds, they start loving her. This is a really weird audience. Now, the way Eric's eyes are depicted in this is really, really cool. The book talks about how Eric's eyes glow in the dark. Now, I always imagined reading the book that it would be like little dots, like fixed glowing pupils. But what I like about this is his entire eyes glow in the dark. And that influenced me as a filmmaker. When I made my Phantom of the Opera movie, I decided to do kind of an old effect to make it look like the Phantom's eyes, the entirety of his eyes, whites, irises, and pupils all together are floating there, using a combination of black makeup, rotoscoping, and very, very precise lighting. And I owe it to this film because I never thought about the idea that his whole eyes would glow in the dark until I saw Emerald City. Raul overhears Christine and Eric through the dressing room door. Again, this is very like the book. In fact, they use a lot of the same dialogue. Raul makes a Valley Girl face before breaking down the door. Gosh, this Raul is so aggressive. That's right, he doesn't even knock. He just breaks down the door. And what's odd is that this may be the most book-accurate Raul ever, even though his hair color's wrong. Raul in the book is probably my least favorite character. In fact, he's the only character in my movie version where I made really extensive changes because, how do I put this nicely? I'm kind of a sensitive guy, okay? I cry over movies. I'm very open with my emotions. I'm a sensitive dude. Raul de Chagny in the book cries at the drop of a hat, and everything that happens, he just whines and moans and complains, and it gets really old really fast. So do I give Emerald City a point for making Raul a whiny little wussy boy like he is in the book? I guess so, but it makes it really clear why no movie adaptations ever keep Raul the same, because he is ungodly irritating. Next, we get the most awkward laugh in history. Apparently, Emerald City is run by the same people who made the Speed Racer cartoons. I'm saying that because the animation looks about the same. Now, this is a weird little moment, because you would think that they would make Joseph Bouquet a manager so that the Phantom killing the manager would have a bigger impact. But no, the Phantom instead kills his little buddy Robert. So Joseph Bouquet doesn't die in this version, even though Bouquet actually has more reason to die. It makes the Phantom seem even more petty. He kills cats, he kills random stagehands, anybody except the person who's actually the problem.
That is Monsieur Robert, the assistant manager.
You must not take away my private box.
Now, after finding out that his little yes man was murdered, what does Joseph Bouquet do? Do you think maybe he changes his tune?
How dare he? The villain! He does not frighten me!
Ah, Joseph Bouquet's an idiot. The Persian is a little bit stereotypical in the way he's presented, including his accent. But you know, it was the 80s and that sort of thing was just more okay then than it is now. So I don't hold it against it. Christine is then abducted, and I always liked the way the mirror is presented in this version. Next, we meet Eric face to face, and I always really liked his mask too. It kind of looks like V from V for Vendetta. He takes Christine to his lair after she passes out, again, very much like in the book. And I love the optical illusions that are in the paintings on the journey to the lair. Some of the staircases and the perspectives don't match up, and it adds a dreamlike quality to this entire proceeding. Also, there's some music that really reminds me of Danny Elfman's score for Batman. And check it out. Eric's lair is a house, like a real house. I know it's become kind of stereotypical to give him the dark chamber with all the candles, and most movies do that, including the 25 version. But his house isn't supposed to look like a cellar. It is described in the book over and over again as looking like a house. In fact, the Persian actually says he has ugly furniture, but besides that, we're told that it looks like a normal house. In fact, it looks really comfy. I wouldn't mind living here. And from this point on, about 60 to 70% of all the dialogue in the whole movie comes directly from the English translation of the book. Now, there is this running thing that is kind of funny to me, where Eric keeps doing this incredibly dramatic gasp.
What honest man covers his face? Take off your mask.
You shall never see.
How do you even do that? I cannot pull that off. I don't know how that man is doing that, but it's so funny to me. Now, the unmasking is an entirely different scene. It's done so differently, not just from the book, but from any other version, that it works really well. Because when she pulls off that mask, it's way more unexpected. There's no build-up, no mysterious music. No, it just happens, and wham bam, monkey face. By the way, the deformity is awesome. Aidan Grinnell plays Eric in this version, and he is a really underrated Phantom.
You wanted to know what I look like? Feast your eyes and glut your soul on my cursed ugliness. When a woman has seen me as you have, she belongs to me. I shall keep you here. Oh, why did you want to see me? My own father never saw me, and even my mother made me wear a mask.
In fact, I think this animated version of the Phantom may be one of the most definitive versions in terms of getting Eric's character nailed down exactly. He's got the craziness, a fantastic maniacal laugh. He's got the seriousness, the patheticness, the lovesickness. If I say ness one more time, we're going to have a drinking game, people. I particularly love this moment where he kisses the hem of Christine's dress and she shudders. That's just wonderful. Just in general, everything about this characterization is fantastic. Just in general, everything from the way he is animated, the actions he makes, to that fantastic Aidan Grinnell voice, with the maniacal laughter and the extreme highs and the extreme lows, and able to be both threatening and truly pathetic. I mean, he just nails Eric's character from the book, maybe more so than any other actor in any other production.
The spirit of music is a man after all.
So, your lover revealed himself, did he?
I do not love him. I love you.
Really? Then tell me you hate him.
Again, I just have to point out that Raul is such a petty wussy jerk, just like in the book. I guess it's kind of perfect. But Christine is also so book accurate that it's hard to appreciate how good she is and what an interesting character she is without seeing how useless Raul is.
That is the terrible thing about it. He fills me with horror, yet I do not hate him. How can I hate him when he loves me so? When he grovels at my feet?
Now, the mask ball is incredibly goofy. I mean, how do you expect me to take them seriously in those outfits? Red Death, however, is great. Look, he's got a full-body skeleton suit. I love that. This is another scene that keeps Eric really threatening in this version, besides cat murder, of course. He literally breaks a dude's hand. Ouch. Now, the Apollo's lair / rooftop scene is really odd. When it begins, you get the impression that they just met up on the roof to make out. It's a little weird. And Eric, instead of screaming supernaturally in a great twist where it's revealed that he's overheard the whole thing the way it is in the book, just kind of moans.
Oh.
Look, when a character sees two other characters kissing and moans, it doesn't get across exactly the vibe I think you were going for, friends. After this, Christine performs, and Eric drops the chandelier. Now, I actually like this change because the chandelier falls much earlier in the book, but they save it and make it more climactic by putting it towards the ending. I personally did not change this element in my version. However, I do appreciate that it does work much better in this context. After Christine disappears, we get this incredibly loud footsteps, followed by
Where is Christine Daae? She's gone, sir. Disappeared.
Who the hell are you? In fact, let me amend that. Who the hell is this chick? And also, who the hell are her friends? And why are they all talked by the same middle-aged man?
She has vanished. Disappeared. The ghost has taken her.
You couldn't find a woman in all of Dublin, Ireland, or let's be more realistic, this was probably dubbed somewhere in Canada. You couldn't find somewhere in the whole of the Americas to dub that little girl and her friends.
Who are you?
You know who I am? I am the Persian.
Yep, I am the Persian, and I have no other name. So the Persian, or Daroga, leads Raul to the house on the lake, and we even see the rat catcher, who is hardly in any versions. They fall into the torture chamber, and the torture chamber is nothing like the book. In the book, the torture chamber looks like a jungle, and I kind of understand why they didn't go that route, but I don't know, in an animated film, it seems like it would have been easier than any other method to portray that. In fact, I think the major reason why most movies don't portray it is because when you just set a scene in a forest like that, it does have a tendency to look sort of cheap. And I get that, but, I mean, I still did it, so what's your excuse? I think it's funny how you can see Raul and Daroga just hanging out in the background. And we get some more book stuff, like Eric making a new mask that looks like any other person. Kind of looks a little bit like a young Brad Pitt, but, any other person. And I love how playful Eric is in this version. In the book, he's very playful too, almost like a cat playing with a mouse before he eats it.
Is there somebody in the torture chamber?
That line cracks me up. And I love that the Persian and Raul are just hiding under a desk. Now, here they start reusing animation like it owes them money. There's a lot of reuse of animation in this whole special, but it gets really bad towards the end.
Plenty of people who did not care for each other before marriage adore each other after.
You know what? I like this Eric. He's almost reasonable. Did I just say that? The scorpion and the grasshopper scene is also included, which is kind of crazy because I think the only movie that's ever had that scene was the Lon Chaney film. The torture chamber also heats up and starts baking the Persian and Raul alive. As I said, the setting of the torture chamber looks wrong. Like, aesthetically, it's incorrect, but it functions like in the book, so I gotta give him a point on that. Eric keeps leaving Christine alone, and I know he does that a few times in the book, but when you condense it the way it is here, it makes it seem a little bit like when a villain on the old Batman show leaves Batman and Robin to escape from a trap. Raul actually finds the way out of the torture chamber in this version, which is good because it makes Raul seem less useless. They end up in Eric's gunpowder room, the room he's going to use to blow up the theater. Christine kisses Eric's head just like in the book and redeems him. Now, this is the only movie or TV version of the Phantom ever to do that, as far as I know. Eric even gives her the ring as a gift for her and Raul. Again, this scene is not in any version except the book.
Don't cry anymore. I am ready to die now. I have tasted all the happiness the world can offer. Oh, how good it is to have someone kiss me. My poor, unhappy mother would never kiss me. For the first time, a living woman kissed me and did not die.
So there you go. From the time of the chandelier onward, it is incredibly accurate to the book. So I get it when people really go crazy over this version. They're like, it's so accurate. It's so much like the LaRue book. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that great? It should be the definitive version. But if we're going to complain about the Lon Chaney film changing the ending, we have to be fair. After all of the redemption and stuff happens, Eric does not die of a broken heart. He commits suicide by playing his organ really, really loud and causing the whole structure to fall apart, killing him and endangering the life of Christine. That does spoil something for me. But Christine, Raul, and the Persian do escape. They get out in the boat, and while they're sitting out on the lake watching, The Persian closes us off with one of the greatest lines ever put in a Phantom of the Opera movie. I mean, this is so good. It should have been in one of the feature-length versions.
Now he has put himself beyond man's hate. Perhaps God will pity him.
So that's it. The animated Phantom of the Opera. I don't think it's as accurate to the book as a lot of people try to say, personally. But leave aside the accuracy, because accuracy obviously does not count on this channel. I mean, you've seen the other versions of Phantom that I still really love. And if I leave that aside, I also really love this one. I think this film is incredible. I mean, yeah, it's a cheap animated film, but the fact that they make one that is so accurate in so many ways at a time period where that wasn't the standard. But again, it doesn't have to be accurate. There's nothing saying that it needs to be a great adaptation of the book. Although it is a better adaptation than most versions, there's nothing saying that to be good, it has to be a good adaptation. It doesn't. It can be a lacking, wanting adaptation and still be a really great film of Phantom. And that's exactly what it is in my book. It's one of my favorite versions. I watch it at least a couple times a year. Even the cheap animation, I don't find distracting. I find it charming. So that's all I have for today. Thank you everybody for watching. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.